Welcome. We are broadcasting live from the mothership. You are tuned in and listening to Starseed Energy Radio with your host Jonah Bolt. Starseed Energy Radio, where you can always tune in to hear the colors and see the music. Starseed Energy Radio goes live in 3, 2, 1.
All right, what's up, Spaceship Earth? Thanks for tuning in. You are now receiving a live transmission from Starseed Radio, where you could always tune in to hear the colors and see the music. I'm your host, Jonah Bolt, the Arcturian Starseed. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2015. We have another amazing show lined up for you today. We have special guest Patty Greer, who will be joining us as our special guest, talking about some new information regarding crop circles, the UFO phenomenon. At first, we're going to give a shout-out, as always, to starseedradio.com. Check it out for the latest news and updates. Check out our Facebook page, our Twitter feed. Like us. Do what you can to spread this information, get this show out there. As well as, we want to say, check out starseedtechnologies.com. StarseedTechnologies.com has the latest amazing, world-shaking, groundbreaking technologies, and I'm not just saying that. It blows the Tesla battery away. Check out StarseedTechnologies.com and call us up or fill out the form. I want to send you a free piece of Elite Shungite. We're still sending that out. We're hearing amazing stories from people, so we're going to continue to do that for as long as we can. So call toll-free 888-400-2328. or go to starseedtechnologies.com and fill out the form right there. All right, we're going to get this show started here with a quote. Our quote of the day goes like this: "It is now highly feasible to take care of everybody on Earth at a higher standard of living than any have ever had or known before. It no longer has to be you or me. Selfishness is unnecessary. War is obsolete. It is a matter of converting the high technology from weaponry to livingry." That quote by my boy, R. Buckminster Fuller. Thank you, Bucky. Again, that quote: "It is now highly feasible to take care of everybody on Earth at a higher standard of living than any have ever known. It no longer has to be you or me. Selfishness is unnecessary. War is obsolete. It is a matter of converting the high technology from weaponry to livingry." Bucky, Buckminster Fuller, we miss you. With that, we're going to start with the daily download, and we're going to be joined by Ryan Matthew Dernick from BellwetherPost.com. Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
Good morning, Jonah. How you doing?
Doing exceptionally well today with our nice quote from our guy Bucky. Lots of news in the world happening. I know the markets took a big dip yesterday. So tell us where Mother Gaia is at, and let's jump into some headlines, please.
Definitely. Well, as regards to solar activity, a pair of coronal mass ejections or solar flares were expected to reach Earth on August 24th. They did not arrive yet, which means that they are moving slower, and the other fact is that they're not even M-class. They're G1 class geomagnetic storms. They should arrive later today on August 25th, so there should be auroras in the offing in the northern hemisphere. Other news in regards to earthquake activity, there was a 4.6 magnitude earthquake 115 kilometers north-northeast of Doi Islands in Fiji, a 4.6 15 kilometers west-northwest of Pagan in the northern Mariana Islands, a 4.5 27 kilometers northwest of La Serena, Chile, a 5.1 231 kilometers west-southwest of Banda Aceh, Indonesia, a 4.9 magnitude earthquake 90 kilometers east of Adak, Alaska, and a 4.5 magnitude earthquake southeast of Lambasa, Fiji. So, in regards to other news and related to earthquakes, over the recently there was a halt on fracking in British Columbia, and this had to do with British Columbia's 4.6
That's some good news.
Yeah, they stopped it for a little bit because what they've noticed, earthquakes near the largest area of over 500 seismic events in northeastern British Columbia, they're believed to be caused, who would have guessed it, because it's not just specific to the United States, they frack all over the globe. Hydraulic fracking is definitely linked to this.
And I just want to say it's one of the stupidest things, Ryan, I've ever heard. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's like whoever thought of piercing the Earth's crust is just an idiot, straight up. Common sense. Whoever that guy is, I'd love to talk to him. You know something bad is going to happen. You're piercing the Earth's crust. Come on.
Exactly. You're drilling 3 miles down, but it's the same people that made mistakes like the Deepwater Horizon spill in
you mean the global elite? Of course.
Yeah, of global elite. General Electric, generally evil, British Petroleum. This is people like that said they'd clean up every last drop. But in regards to this 14 months ending in October 2015, they found that during this period, 231 seismic events in this area were attributed to oil and gas operations. So a majority of those earthquakes were caused by fracking, which is, again, not any kind of revelation if you've been paying attention to the headlines and such. In regards to other news, as you probably know, and other people in the audience have noticed this for the last couple of years, they've been worrying about the honeybee populations, and scientists are now hoping with this new technology they're going to put sensors on the bees, basically like little tiny sensor backpacks on the bees, because they've noticed such a sharp plunge in the population of honeybees, which pollinate about 70% of the global crops. And as you know, Albert Einstein actually said this: if honeybees were to totally be gone, the Earth would have about 4 years of sustainability. And that because they're one of the Earth's most major pollinators to really cause any kind of like blooms and crops to be yielded every year. So without them, honeybees are a very integral part on Mother Gaia and in regards to sustaining life on this planet, especially our lives and other simpler lives. So these Australian scientists in Sydney revealed on Tuesday they are using these microsensors that will attach to the bees to kind of see why and how the decline may be occurring. Some people theorize, it's maybe because the geomagnetics of the planet are changing, but no actual like substantial data has been gathered. So hopefully this will shed some more light on that. And in regards to other news, the long known since about a month and a half ago, 2 months now, of the impending possible tsunami event that could occur on near the Cascadia subduction zone. Scientists are modeling tsunami hazards on the northwest coast, and it's called M9 Project. And so dozens of University of Washington scientists will be part of this research endeavor funded by the National Science Foundation to study the Cascadia subduction zone more in depth and to communicate information about potential hazards to the government officials and the public along that coastline, which goes from about British Columbia down, it's about 800 miles down to the northern coast of Mendocino, California. So the two University of Washington scientists, applied mathematics professor Randy Levesque and affiliate professor of Earth and Space Sciences Frank Gonzalez, recently discussed ways that the model tsunami hazards would be studied along the northwest coast. And in regards to other news, the Greenland glaciers, they recently lost a chunk in a very short period of time, roughly the size of Manhattan. And satellite images have actually validated this, that the world's fastest moving glacier lost a piece of ice measuring nearly 5 square miles over just 2 days. So scientists are basically saying it's one of the most significant.
Oh, I think we lost Ryan. So I have an awesome article that I found I'll talk about for a minute till Ryan comes back. I don't know what happened to him.
Hey.
Oh, there he is.
Right there I am. I cut out for a second. So scientists are basically saying this is one of the most significant calving events that have occurred in quite some time. And the radar images basically have basically shown that this is an ongoing issue as glacials disappear, desertification increases. But as you said yesterday, people don't realize that the history of deserts, some deserts were actually caused by prehistoric nuclear wars because there were advanced civilizations on this planet before, as you said yesterday, Jonah, and they've done that with ground-penetrating radar, showing that there are massive craters under certain areas, especially in parts of India where there are large deserts in that area. Now, in other news, as SRN just reported, stocks have rebounded in the United States as the Dow jumps more than 300 points in initial trading, or up 2%. And this is on the fact that China has lowered their rate, basically the interest rate. And just as we have an interest rate here that our Federal Reserve has artificially suppressed at a ridiculous rate, that basically makes investors more stabilized in regards to trading and buying power. And so that made a jolt in our markets today. But markets.
And I just want to point out also on a positive thing, Costa Rica is calm despite international economic turbulence. And this is an article I'll post up, livingcostarica.com, because they didn't invest in the mortgage-backed securities. Costa Rica isn't stupid. That's why they don't have an army here. And among other things, they're not retarded, just like people that buy a Tesla battery thinking they're saving the planet. Awesome article. Costa Rica, shout out to you guys once again for shining such a bright light. Thank you. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. And in regards to other news, Trump is widening the lead over all other U.S. Republican presidential candidates. And it's just Trump is basically he's really resonating with a lot of potential voters, Democrats,
the yuppies
Republicans,
and the young people that are falling for it, thinking that money's.
But not only that, minorities as well. Because over the weekend he had a huge following of almost 10,000 people, basically over 10,000 people in Alabama that came and congregated at his speech there, and so he's got a lot of different minorities that are really supporting him. And so it's yet to remain. We still have a long time until the November election of 2016, but it's showing that there is further.
I also wanted to point out another article
campaign.
to dovetail that. Modern Greeks return to ancient system of barter. Ooh, imagine that. This great article on npr.org. And it's so simple, Ryan. It's like people that think they're going to win the White House and change everything. It's impossible. That's why a collective has to be done. We keep talking about that. And the modern Greeks return to ancient barter system. Wow, so simple. It's like things like that exist. Yes, they do. Gift economies, there's bitcoins, there's permacurrency, there's all sorts of alternative decentralized currencies that work for the people. And also a cool article I wanted to mention. Schools in San Francisco implement meditation and students' happiness and academic success scores. I mean, that's awesome. Who would have thought? San Francisco, props to them. Implemented meditation with students in school. The happiness and all the academic have soared, and it's just an amazing story. It's just.
And you don't need to take Ritalin. You just need to meditate. Who would have thought?
Imagine that. Also, no Lexapro.
And then also now they have an opiate. They have OxyContin now, a new form of it for 11 to 16-year-olds. So hey, let's get that synthetic heroin as young as we can and push it out to the general.
We're going to end the Daily Download right there, and we're going to start announcing our Game of Thrones Person of the Day. Now, I thought about this one, and I want to stick to fracking, so I'm going to vote for the Exxon CEO as the Game of Thrones Person of the Day. And I want to read his meme first before I say his name. Exxon CEO claims fracking is safe, but then he files a lawsuit to stop fracking near his 100-acre horse ranch. That guy? Rex Tillerson. Thank you, Rex.
Look at him. He cares about his own survival and his own immediate area with his ranching and stuff, but he doesn't care about the general population.
Rex Tillerson, Game of Thrones, Person of the Day. Fracking is cool, but don't frack next to my house because that's not cool. Doesn't get any more Game of Thrones than that. Thank you, Ryan, for the Daily Download. You can catch Ryan's at bellwetherpost.com, and also he's got his live feed on starseedradio.com as well. Ryan, we'll talk to you tomorrow. You have a great day. And with that, we're going to bring on our special guest of the show. And this lady, it's been a while since she's been on the show, but it's great to have her back because she has new and amazing information to share with us all. Patty Greer has been in the forefront of the crop circle phenomenon for years now. She's won many awards for her filmmaking and documentary on the subject matter. And this year she's been hot to trot all over the circuit, all over the world, getting this information out. So we thank you, Patty, for your service, and thank you again for coming on the show. How are you today, Star Sister?
I am awesome, Jonah Bolt, and I'm really glad to be back on your show because you are kicking it.
Thank you. It's all of us are collectively, and it's amazing, and it was really good catching up with you and to have you back and see that you're still on fire. And tell us, quickly, if you can, Patty, tell the listeners out there that aren't familiar with your background, when did you first get into crop circles, UFOs? Did you go on board a ship when you were a kid? Did you see a crop circle and know that was your mission? How did this whole phenomenon for you happen?
No, I don't recall being on a ship as a child. I don't recall ever even wondering about crop circles or UFOs in my life. And as I have been introduced to all these crop circles, it's almost like bang, bang, bang on the back of your head. I remember when that came out. Oh my God, I remember that. But we're so distracted by all the BS. I mean, oh my God, Kardashian's new shoes. Well, I'm going to forget about that crop circle.
Ooh, you saw those new shoes?
Or how about her naked, whatever. I can't even waste a moment of your precious show on the distractions that we're being fed. And when we go out in society and see every single person pretty much on the train, on the whatever, sitting anywhere socially, everybody's texting. Nobody's looking up at the sky. Nobody's talking to the person they're sitting in front of. The distractionators, those designing these distractions, have won. And that's why people like you and I are working this hard to bring back to consciousness. And this very interesting war on consciousness, done by a very small group of people, is being broken down now. And we are, all of us, listening to your show, those of us doing these shows, running around the world speaking about evolution. We are the pioneers of the new paradigm, and there is no going back.
Oh,
so
thank you for that.
For me, well, very strong feelings. I am glad I was muted on the news because I had so many reactions to every single thing Ryan said. You know, for me, just the fact that we have a Bush, a Clinton, and a Trump running for presidency of this country, that's embarrassing.
That's a joke. Thank you for saying that. Yes, it is. It is embarrassing. Since the world already knows.
The ETs, I mean, they look down, they see nuclear spew, they see all this stuff, and then a Bush, a Trump, and a Clinton. They're like, why bother? They're going to blow themselves up. I mean, sometimes I kind of think that. On the other hand, as we know, they're already here within our society doing a little bit, but we really do have to save ourselves as a species. And when all of our leaders are this corrupt, and all the newspapers are owned and all the media outlets are owned by people that really don't want evolution, it's been a war on consciousness. So I'm very excited when I hear people I had no idea were working behind the scenes doing huge things. And I know as hard as I'm working publicly to show people. I was just in Canada. I did a conference with Nassim Haramein, who was brilliant.
Awesome.
And Marty Leeds. Oh, fantastic weekend. I got back late last night. So Marty Leeds opened the show with comparing numbers to alphabet, really understanding the ancient coding that is still here in symbols. You walk into any major city, you'll see a Masonic sign, but all of these things in crop circles also, in physics also. So here's three different speakers. This brilliant guy on numerous numbers, me with crop circles, and their messages being decoded by me showing 64 that appear to look like propulsion technology. Now, if I showed one or two, they'd go, yeah, coincidence. So I show 64. And then I spin a bunch of crop circles. So in my presentations. And so people, by the end, it was really fun when I say, any questions? And no hands went up. And I said, see, I warned you. And then a few hands pop up, and then we get the conversation going. But there's so many people that really know what we're talking about with ETs, with advanced technology, with free energy. And because, unfortunately, the media maggots are in control, their mission has been to put out circus material. Well, it's far, they're just the payers. It's the generic, I've had 3 movie distributors, and none of them had any intention of getting my work out. All 3 of them basically signed a contract with me to hide my work because I'm the filmmaker that proved crop circles are real. And I proved it through a telepathic communication. I had no idea. But the one thing I know, and you asked me what got me to go to crop circles, I went innocent. I knew nothing. I didn't read a book. I didn't see videos. All I knew was some friends of mine just got back, and I gave them a hug, looked at them, and said, what's different about you? And I stood back and I said, seriously, you look really different. And it was a couple, and they both just smiled and said, we just got back from the crop circles. Oh, my God. And 6 weeks later, I was there.
Wow. And what did that experience do for you when you first had your initial sort of awakening experience, face-to-face with the energy of the crop circles, of the orbs? How was that like?
Well, the first year, they just showed me that the farmers are paranoid. It was 2006. I went with a daughter, and we walked in our first crop circle, and it was meticulous, immaculate, The hair stood up on my arms, goosebumps head to toe. It completely took me out of myself. It was shocking. And my daughter was hip and cool, and I turned around and she goes, yeah, Mom, I feel it. Yeah, trying not to admit
sure,
it,
Mom.
but huge. Yeah. So, I had to kind of behave appropriately is a polite way to say it that summer, but it was also pouring rain 2006. So here we are in this crop circle, first one I'd ever seen. Like I said, no research, had no idea. So I went in innocent and pretty much stayed innocent because there's so much misinformation. And the leaders of this field are funded by a huge money initiative and a big family that wants us to not know. And so if you pay people to mislead the public and say they're all fake, go back to sleep, most likely the public will, as long as you guide all your TV cameras and newspapers and magazines to those people who are willing to say those things for money. So that's nice. We've all been sleeping. And why would they hide crop circles? Well, here's the punchline. Number one, crop circles are giving us an awful lot of information about advanced technologies. Number two, they're showing us star maps and transitions. They're giving us a tremendous amount of mathematics. And they also, interestingly enough, when the seeds were taken into the lab of the only scientist in the world, William Levengood, who proved the phenomenon is real, he took those seeds and he said, what's going on in the middle of a crop circle? Do the seeds die or are they enhanced? And those seeds grown outside and in germination chambers grew up to 400% more food, with up to 75% more nutritional value.
That's unbelievable.
Why would this phenomenon be hidden? Yeah, because it helps the food tremendously. So when we get rid of Monsanto and they are removed from all the world and the bees get to come back, it's going to take these advanced ET technologies to get rid of the damage they've done. And I said to Nassim Haramein at the end of our midnight-and-a-half conversation with his kids asleep on his lap, and everybody left, I said, and I looked him in the eye, are we going to make it? Because I know he knows more than the rest of us. And he said, we're right on the edge. I mean, these are dire moments because the 1% are super sociopathic, and they've done so much damage, and it's still allowed. It's still being allowed today. How could they be allowed to dump chemicals from airplanes? I mean, who owns the sky? Really? I hear your news, and I was just shaking my head like, I can't believe we're sitting ducks like this. Can you?
Yeah, it's quite shocking, and most people are asleep. They're on the chemtrail Prozac, and they're just sort of sheeple, and it's unfortunate. But the good news is, Patty, is people like us, no matter what they spray in the air, no matter what they put in our food, no matter what they put in our water, it's not stopping us. We are on the front lines. We are the elite. We are the elitists of this movement, if you will. And we're the ones out there. And we're the crazy ones, the black sheeps of the family, the ones that are out there that have been through so many life and tribulations. At this point, I could really give a shit if they try to kill me or not. That would be the last thing they'd want to do. I'd come back as an archangel. Then they'd really be screwed. I mean, let's get real. We've gone through these trials to make us to make us who they are.
Be careful what you say. I'm going to knock on wood for you. Don't say I don't care if they kill me, because we do care. There's not enough of us leading this movement, so I care. No, I don't want them to kill you. I want them to go all in a big. I want them all on an island where they get fed their fluoridated water and their GMO food, and they can have leaky gut syndrome from what's in that food, and they don't get any Nangalase antidote to get over it. So they're all on an island together, all of them creating this earth problem. And oh wow! There's no bank.
If you look at the realness of it, our head of our FDA is the ex-president of Monsanto. The people in charge of our Homeland Security are SS Nazi and a Russian general from Russia. They don't even have citizenship here. They have dual citizen. I mean, look at the people that are even in power here. It's a joke. And, it is disheartening when you have American people that don't even know who's running our Homeland Security, don't even know who's running our FDA. They're not aware of these things because they're not made public by the controlled media, like you said. And it's very disheartening. But like when Nassim said, we are on the cusp. we're all moving forward, and we're doing whatever we can as our mission, and none of us aren't going anywhere until our missions are carried through, and I firmly believe that, and that's the only answer I've come up with why I'm still here after all these trials and tribulations I've gone through. I've been through 19 car accidents and a number of other things, and there's a reason for me here, you here, the rest of us, so I feel very confident that we are going to continue to do our mission until it's succeeded. I know for me and for you and for the rest of us, that's where we're at. So I'm excited, even through what's happening and, with the news and this and that. You have to be aware of it, and that's why we cover it. It's a Jedi Master. You have to be aware of all your surroundings. You can't ignore this. Can't ignore Fukushima. Be aware of it. That way you can make the best, most intelligent decision. If an occurrence or an epidemic or whatever arises, at least you have as much information as you can to make the best possible decision for you and your family. That simple. And it's amazing because these are amazing times here. And the crop circle phenomenon is something that is real. It's been going on for a while. There's a lot of research and science backing it, like you said. And they are showing us amazing things, technologies, mathematics. And I want to go into that, Patty, when we get back. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. When we get back, I'd like to go into what are the mathematics they're showing us? What are these technologies that are showing us? How can we use them? Are there people already decoding them and using them? These are the type of questions I would really love to hear about when we get back. So think about that for a minute, and we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're joined by Patty Greer, amazing UFO crop circle researcher. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Study with the sages, dust down the microphone, channeling the greatest, speak through the mouthpiece. Little red bone fire starter from the southeast. Run with the warriors, armors on my chest plate. Meet you with the battle horns, blaring at the west gate. No time for dead weight, I'm moving vertical.
Will you watch the world burn from your jet? Or plant a tree on your spaceship? We'll never find another home, but we can feel the wind blow. Will you watch the world burn from your jet? Or plant a tree on your spaceship? We'll never find another home, but we can feel the wind blow. Music on the radio.
Well, I want to plant a tree on my spaceship. I know that much. We're joined by Patty Greer talking about crop circles, the ET UFO phenomenon, and also some amazing research and some amazing footage Patty has captured over the years to show that this phenomenon is for real. And just so people know, because I was just talking to my girlfriend Patty on break, and she was like, looking up crop circles, and there's a lot of disinformation out there, as you said. There's a lot of hoaxers out there making crop circles. There's a lot of hoaxers doing different things. People have to look at the real evidence, which I've seen over the years, that shows how the crop circles are made, how they're woven, some of them, how they can't even tell, like, where the stems are broken on the stuff. I mean, there's so much evidence to show that, A, a human couldn't even do that type of stuff. The energy in the area, when you read it with devices, are off the Richter. Like you said, the seeds and everything grow 400%. I mean, there's a reason for that. That is not, you can't make that stuff up. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. What is the research behind that? Can you give us some factual data that people have discovered, like you mentioned the gentleman before? What are some of the factual data that shows these things are ET, that they are not man-made? And then let's go into the patterns like we talked about, what they're telling us.
Okay, great questions. The biophysical evidence is so easy for anybody to discern. And I want to welcome your audience to go look at a lot of crop circles during our show. My website is pattygreer.net, pattygreer.net. I have 6 movies, 7 trailers, and on every page there are collages of crop circles, some of my favorites. So if you guys want to be looking at crop circles while we talk, you'll understand a whole lot more. The biophysical evidence of humans walking in a crop circle with a board and a rope. They've got a straight across board that's maybe 3-4 feet wide, and they've got a hole drilled on each end, and they stick a rope through, tie it in a knot, and then they step down on the board on the wheat lays down, it breaks where it bends, and then they pull it up, they step 3 feet further, they lay the wheat down, break it at the bends, and then they just keep going and laying it down, I guess, by GPS coordinates. in the middle of the night. I can't even fathom doing it. But they say, because I've talked to them, that they can get their eyes to focus in the dark by continuously trying. They kind of retrain their eyes to see in the dark. They probably also have those military goggles, because who knows, it's probably the military doing it too. So, yes, there are humans out there doing it, and as a researcher, you walk in the crop circle, go down on your knees, and it's broken every 3 feet. Bang, obvious. When the hair doesn't stand up on my arms, no goosebumps, to me, it's more of an indoor feeling of my body where, you know, I can feel the shift of enhanced electromagnetic field. A lot of people are completely insensitive and they feel nothing, no hair standing up, no goosebumps. So it's different with different people, but visibly you can see broken wheat. When it is a phenomenal crop circle, which most of the ones I've gone in, and most of the real researchers that are true crappies, not paid liars. I'm sorry to be so bold, but I'm out of patience with people lying. So the biophysical changes are beautiful. Where the wheat is bent, there's a bubble. Now, something heated that wheat to expand it, to bend over, but you've got hundreds of thousands of pieces of wheat, corn, barley, canola, rapeseed, all these different kinds of fields, even sand, dirt. But getting back to the plants, by this biophysical evidence, we see a bubble, and something had to have heated that stem stalk of grain to bend it in the exact direction that it wanted. For me, what's amazing is looking at it from the sky, from these little microlight planes I fly in to film. How do they do the shading? I mean, to me, that's amazing that there's 7,000 pointing north, and then all of a sudden, in the perfect arc, then the rest of them point east. It's like, whoa, you know, so it's really pre-planned in a very magnificent art form, very advanced. So we also see the elongated node. The bend is the node. So there's a bubble. It's elongated. Sometimes there's a popped hole because the steam had to get out. Now, not only do we find that biophysical evidence, but some of the wheat fields over the years, the wheat got really heavy. And so those samples were taken to the lab of William Levengood, great scientist who passed away 2 years ago. But he left his evidence for those of us willing to tell the truth. Luckily, I'm the one that got it, some of it, probably most of it. I have his photos. I mean, it's fantastic, the work that he did. So he peels away this heavy stuff. An elemental metal was peeled off the leaf that was wrapping around the flower of the wheat. And he put it in his lab and he tested it, and it turned out to be on the front and the back of the leaf, making it stiff. As he peeled it off, it had elements of the leaf. So it had to have hit the leaf in a molten form to mold to the leaf. It was iron ore. Iron ore floating through the air in a wheat field in the middle of the night at more than 1,200 degrees to be molten. How does this happen? So we've got really high heat affecting the wheat. And furthermore, his experiments proved that they're not coming down from ETs in ships. These crop circles are a co-creation of the Mother Earth, us, humanity, human consciousness, and ETs. So all three of us, interestingly enough, have added our personal frequencies to many of these crop circles. And Levengood and his real assistant, not the one that the public thinks worked with him for all these years, the person who I won't name to be respectful, who claims to be running with Levengood's name and everything, was asked to leave the organization 12 years before he died because they pulled a prank on him and went public saying he's not valid. We gave him fake bent nodes and he fell for it and he made a statement that wasn't true. So it's interesting the level people will go to debunk the scientist who really gave us the data. So his data is magnificent, and what he proved is that they're initially coming out of the earth. Who knew that? Not me. And so he proved that crop circles are initially originating from inner earth. And almost all of them are coming out on a ley line, which is a direct line between two sacred sites. And many of them are sitting on a node, there's that word again, N-O-D-E, which is a crossing of two ley lines. So it's at a point where four sacred sites meet energetically in the middle, major energy place. They lay this crop circle down, but 96 or 7% of them have been found, documented to be sitting over an aquifer of water. So water is another very important element in the delivery system, initiating from the mother. So they come up in these pairs, usually, of spinning, counter-rotating vortices. So we've got one spinning clockwise, a little tornado coming out of the earth of frequencies, very high-pitched plasma frequencies. And the other one is spinning counterclockwise, and they're side by side. So we've got these two counter-rotating vortices spinning really fast in the middle of a field, in the middle of the night. And the heat expands, and at that point, the predetermined combination of ET, Earth, and us is then added. So ET frequencies, if they aren't part of that crop circle, are brought in then. Their frequencies enhance the spin, the counter-rotating spin. And human consciousness, if we are part of that crop circle schematic, then our frequencies are added. But not always do we have all three elements. Sometimes it's just the earth and ETs. It has nothing to do with human consciousness. It may be just a message for us. On the other hand, sometime this person that really worked with Levengood said that it's only the earth and us. For example, last year, I filmed with an incredible cinematographer. We had 2 5D cameras and a drone. I mean, beautiful. And I take Sasha Stone from New Earth Nation into his first crop circle ever. He's in my last movie, The Shift Has Hit the Fan. And so I was excited, you know, because he's in London, and I wanted to take him in the crop circle. So he's beautiful on camera, too. So I took him in, and so the cameraman and I went in first, and Sasha had to wait with the rest of the crew till we had set up the camera. I was like, God, you know, kind of a little unnatural, but just ignore us once you start walking in, just be. And I said, you know, most likely the hair will stand up on your arms. You'll feel all these amazing things. And we get to this crop circle, which the photo from the air, somebody else had flown over, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, an incredible formation, just beautiful acres in Dorset, England. So we're in there, and I'm walking in with a camera guy who's having his first experience. And I said, you know, even though you're carrying all this gear, I won't talk to you so that you can enjoy your first crop circle. And I'm seeing nothing on my arm. I'm feeling nothing in my body. And all of a sudden it hit me, unbelievable. This beautiful crop circle is human-made. Oh, man. You know, kind of a bummer because I'm taking, you know, we got all this gear. So we get to the back of the crop circle, in comes Sasha, and, you know, the interview was beautiful. And then we both agreed in this back circle with 5 women that were also there that it felt human-made. It was broken wheat instead of, you know, but there's a combination of bent nodes and broken. So it was a combination, and we're both kind of, So here I'm on camera, and I'm pointing, you know, to the sacred site up on the hill, and I'm pointing straight across behind me to another hill fort, a sacred site on the hill. And I said, we are in position because we are on a ley line, but the elements don't feel so electrostatically enhanced. And so I looked at these women, and I said, what do you feel about this crop circle? And the woman says, well, number one, we are the QEG team, Quantum Energy Generator Free Energy Device team. And they just went open source to the world, which is so cool. So I was like, oh my God, you're kidding. I've been reading about you. So nice to meet you.
That's
and
Hope
in
Girl.
A crop circle.
Hope Girl in Turkey.
Huh? Hope Girl.
That's Hope Girl in Turkey.
That's
Shout out.
Right. So she was there, Hope Girl, her mama Val, and the girls on the team, but no men. So it's just 5 of the women. And I said, what do you think of this crop circle? And Mama-san, Val, said, this is our crop circle. And it is real. And we, with our technical staff, were in the Avebury Stone Circle yesterday, sitting in a circle, asking for a confirmation that that crop circle was real. She showed me a photo of their device. I showed her a photo of the crop circle. We turned them sideways. It was their device. So even though there weren't big blown nodes, it was sitting on a ley line, and it was an intentional human crop circle that the mother probably assisted with. And there was not the electrostatic energy enhancement, so good chance that the ETs didn't have a lot to do with this one. So it's an interesting dance between the three of us co-creating these messages. And then we say, well, who are these messages for? Well, the mother initially, I think, is screaming to be heard because she's the one initiating these messages. We add combinations. So as these messages come through water, the message, the sacred geometry, the ancient codes go out to all the waters of the earth because all water is interconnected. All of us are interconnected. So then it comes through the water onto the earth plane for humans to see, for the animals to feel, for anybody walking around the earth, the ETs that are among us. We enjoy those crop circles on the earth. And then anything or anyone flying over is also going to be seeing the message. So it's for all of us. Now, why would the mother be initiating this much communication? We know we've had them documented for hundreds of years. The first one, I think, was 1776 they documented, and they called them fairy rings. Well, I learned from Levingood's partner that the reason they're called fairy rings is because a lot of times we will see a circle in a park, just flat grass, and all of a sudden there's this big green circle. People don't realize that's a crop circle. I mean, there's so many crop circles that we walk by that we don't even realize. And when I saw pictures of something like that, just, you know, a field of grass, a park, a city park, and all of a sudden there's that raised, darker green circle, the following year, they grow mushrooms because the heat of what caused that crop circle decomposed the earth, the dirt, everything on it. It burned it. It enhanced it, and so mushrooms grow. And when you've got a circle of mushrooms, what have we called them forever? Fairy rings. Well, guess what? Those fairy rings began as crop circles, most likely. How cool is that?
That's amazing, and the research behind it is amazing as well because it's factual data, the heating up of the crops and things like that. Humans can't do that; it can't be replicated. And unfortunately, there are people that go out there and get paid to disinfo that, like you just told that story, and people that can make them themselves, but the energy spikes and things like that are so unique to the phenomenon. If you would, Patty, tell us, what are some of these crop circles? I've seen different models making them 3D and showing torsion fields and mathematics things. What do you think they're trying to tell us, represent? Are they giving us codes for new mathematics to help humanity? They're giving us technologies for us to use, or are they just showing us that they have these technologies? What do you think some of these messages are really intended for?
Every single thing you just said is a yes, 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 yes. You just went through a great list of them. We also have star maps showing us changes in the solar systems, but I say the, not our, because there are billions of solar systems. So a lot of the star maps are their solar systems. At the turn of this century, we had two binary codes, 2001 and 2002, that were really famous really quickly, and then, of course, the news had to hide it quickly. But one of them was the response to the CSATI message that Francis Drake and Carl Sagan sent out from the Arecibo Tower in Puerto Rico. And that message went out into space in 1974, I believe. I'm pretty sure that was year, and it came back in 2001 with 9 distinct changes. So it was a direct communication. It was delivered in binary code, and I think the reason they put it in binary is because they know we can decipher it. We can't pretend we don't understand. We can't pretend that we don't get the message. And the following year, 8 miles away, in a field, both of them, not coincidentally, were in fields with a huge telecommunication tower sitting on the side. So, filled with satellite dishes, it wasn't arbitrary. They knew, or they hoped, that if humanity had intelligence, which sometimes people do, that they would get the message out to the world. So they delivered these 2 written messages in binary code. So, between 2001 and 2002, bang, $2.3 trillion goes missing. Rumsfeld gets his moment of fame on TV. Oh gosh, it's missing. We can't find it. Next day, huge cover story makes us forget about that 9/11, where, oh my gosh, somebody with a diaper on their head bombed us. Oh, so not true. But anyway, so we're just being fulfilled with all this BS. And what did the ETs say? They came back with the alien face and the disc. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do. Yep, clearly.
Well, we got it in the news until the news got wind of, oh, wait a minute, hide that. What was the message in binary code right after 9/11? Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe there is good out there. We oppose, all caps, deception. Conduit closing. Amazing.
Wow.
2009, we had a freak summer. No codes, no sacred geometry hardly. It was all pictograms all summer long. Octopus, squid, ancient sea creatures. We had birds, the thunderbird, the phoenix rising with flames coming out of her wings. The one after another bird, one after another fish, and the ancient scarab beetle, and the dragonfly with veins in the wings. I mean, magnificent acres drop beautifully in these birds, fish, and bugs. What was the message? Oh, I was scratching my head. What happened 6 months later, 9 months later? BP oil spill. Killed millions of birds, millions of fish, millions of beetles and bugs. So crop circles have been giving us response to how the mother feels about humans acting this badly and being lied to. Why would she be throwing these messages up? Well, look what we're doing to our wheat fields. We have allowed Monsanto to poison the food. We have allowed fracking, the removal of the mother's blood. I mean, my God, between the ETs looking down and the mother looking up, they must be shaking their heads going, I don't even know if there's any hope to help them. That they would allow chemtrailing to poison my soil? I think the mother's been very nice. And these tsunamis and hurricanes and tornadoes, you did mention fracking. You forgot to mention the drilling of all the underground facilities. I mean, we are destroying our ability to function as a species. And, you know, the activities of these poor sociopaths to try and poison all the humans to move us out of the way so they can each have 1 billion acres. You know, I mean, so the whole system has to change. The collective consciousness is rising, and we need to push this movement faster and harder and deeper than ever before, because the earth is working with us. ETs are working with us, and we are at a point where we need to tell our neighbor, at the cost of losing friends and being less popular, we need to wake the world up.
Uh-ho.
And my word, yeah, aho. And again, I want to mention I have 6 documentary films that my body made. All of them were happening through telepathy. And the reason that I think I get the award for most hacked filmmaker in the world of ufology, and the worst distributor relationships in ufology, is because when I made my first movie, I had no idea that I had was set up to be this filmmaker with contact. I finished the movie like I had no training, And I had a wonderful editor off Craigslist. And we finished the movie, 77 minutes. I was like, wow, what are the chances? My favorite number. And I said, shut the gear down, let everything cool off. Let's go out on the deck, take a break. Wow, that was fun. Come back in and watch it and see if I'm ready to say it's done. So we walk away. He turns everything down. And I look over my shoulder and I said, why is there a blue orb on the monitor? And we both looked and I said, that's not even in the movie. And he looked at me and he said, that monitor is unplugged from the wall. And in that moment, in Boulder, Colorado, the hair went up on my arms, goosebumps head to toe, and I said, oh my God, I feel like I'm standing in a crop circle. And the poor kid looked at me and he said, you look really weird. And I said, turn everything back on. Well, I thought we were taking it. Turn everything back on now, please. So the kid sits down, he lights everything back up, and I said, show me that famous footage, the Oliver's Castle, where 2 balls of light lay a crop circle down in seconds that I ended the movie with. He said, why? I said, I don't know. Show it to me again. Okay, reverse it. Why? I don't know. Just do it. So he reversed it, and I watched it carefully. All telepathic. All of a sudden, I said, slow it down. He said, how slow? And I said, I don't know, 30%. I can't believe that just fell out of my face. Literally, it happened like that. He was my witness. And slowing it down, reversing it 30%, slowed down, I yelled, stop. And right between those 2 balls of light was a binary code communication. And what I didn't finish about Levengood's research about the spinning, counter-rotating vortices is that when the frequency is exact, with all 3 of the elements of Earth, sky, and us, what humans will see, which many of us have, is those spinning frequencies turn into 2 balls of light. They communicate the message of the field. It goes down in seconds. They fly away, and a 3rd ball of light flies over the field to check. This is at the end of my first movie, The Wake-Up Call. Anybody listening? And nobody noticed. So I put it in my 4th movie called Crop Circle Update, The Wake-Up Call. And it won Best Film and Best Music at the International UFO Congress Convention. And still today, not one researcher has said to me, thank you for finding that. Wow, now we know crop circles are real. I can't believe still nobody is willing to acknowledge that we have visible evidence. And I didn't find that communication by mathematics or research. It was completely telepathic in front of the editor. And when I found it in that moment, I said, unbelievable. That's real footage. And it's my gift, now that I'm working on a brand new, over-the-top crop circle movie of all of these telepathic instances. Oh, my God, the stories are so out there.
And, Patty, we have about 30 seconds left, so I want to get your information out there. And all the information has been amazing. So please give out your website. Where can people find more information on you?
Great. Come visit me at pattygreer.net, PATTYGREER.net. The trailers on YouTube give you the first 15 minutes, but enjoy.
For people who want a better planet, and there are powers that be that let the people panic. Look at the Gulf of Japan. Could they